Let's clear and ground the energies. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hello and welcome to ArcanaUniverse. This is going to be Scorpio September 2025 energy forecast reading. Let's get started. As a friendly reminder, this is a general reading, so only take what resonates. We do have cross watchers, so roles can be reversed, but you will know it if this is your story and which side you're on. Which side you are on, okay? Feel free to check out the description of this video where you'll find additional information on ways to connect with me one-on-one. Memberships are available as well. So what's the opening overall energy coming through at this time? So this card wanted to come up, but I just like put it back in before I started. And I was getting, but let's keep going. So I'm getting a strong, strong Virgo energy coming through. So, or Earth, and there's sun, moon, rising, or Venus, or what have you. But I read energies here. And what I'm picking up is this energy. Somebody here is like single or they're trying to build up their independence. But I'm getting like a competitive energy, okay? So this energy it's almost like they're being inspired. Okay, so remember, we have both sides listening in, but what I'm getting here is, okay, one side is very like independent, knows what they want, goes after what they want, does what they say they will do. If they have a dream, they'll make it into a reality. They're very consistent. And this is the type of energy that is willing to distance themselves, and in a sense kind of go into hermit mode to work on what they want. And the thing about this energy is they have a tendency to not be vocal. They kind of move in silence. And for those who doesn't really understand this energy, there may be the possibility to have some sort of misunderstanding, instead of like when they're actually, working on themselves, their finances, their independence, and their foundation. And when they do that, they're very limiting their energy and time to themselves and their endeavors instead of like perhaps giving other people attention. And so if somebody here that is not able to see the reality and the truth of the matter, if they're not able to see what they're really doing, they may have the tendency to think, oh, they don't care, they're not talking, or they're not being present because they're only there when they need them, or like they could care less about that. It's just somebody here has a tendency to be narrow-minded, okay? It's like taking things personally, jumping into conclusions, being paranoid, etc. And it's almost as if like the thing about the person who has been very grounded and been focusing on their independence and stability, they've been communicating about what they've been doing and their endeavors, their intentions the whole time. They're actually very respectful, and they show and care that they do want to be present, and if anything, they're only focusing and pouring their attention to their independence and foundation, because they want to eventually open up their time, or be able to have more time to spend with the people that they care about and that they ultimately want to be close to. And so it's really encouraging. There's something to be said about like talking things through, and not just jumping into conclusions. If somebody here is uncertain, ask. Is everything, are you okay? What's going on? Do you have time? And then if they have to decline because they have other obligations or the schedule doesn't line up, it's not to say they don't want to come together and enjoy, each other's company. It's not that. It's just they really, it's almost as if, perhaps somebody's finances are not the greatest, or they may be struggling, or they're going through a lot right now, and like things, it's very difficult for them. So somebody here really needs to let go of their insecurities and not think like, oh, they're pulling back, they're not being available because they don't care. Like, no. Okay, they really need to stop thinking this way, that in a pessimistic way, where it's just like, I don't want to say they're trying to pity themselves, but it's just like there's somebody here is finding a reason to they're finding a reason to justify how they're feeling. Okay, but it's almost done internally. It's not like the other person's fault. It's just somebody here, this is what they want, this is what they believe, and they're kind of at a crossroads as to how they really should feel. What's the advice? I'm getting here, somebody has been very, they try to keep up this image like they don't need people. Okay, that they don't need anybody else, that they can do everything themselves. They don't want to feel like they're dependent on anyone, or etc. So but when somebody here has that kind of mentality, they're already pushing people away. And it's like, it doesn't matter what the other person says. It's just like, no, I want to be there, or I care, or like, and all of that. They're just like, no, they don't want that. Like they try to justify how they're feeling without actually having a conversation, or actually knowing the full story. So, perhaps this energy, they have good intuition, or they have like spiritual gifts, or like they have a tendency to be right about certain things. But when it comes specifically to this connection, okay, it's wrong. How they're feeling is wrong. They're not seeing the entire situation for what it is. And so I definitely see some sort of like jumping into conclusions, burning bridges, before, like, to prevent being hurt. And it's ultimately because somebody really likes this person, or like they really care. And it's almost as if like they're going to stop the connection before it even has the opportunity to blossom. It's kind of sad. It's very sad, actually. So what do you want to say to this, God? What's the advice coming through? So, this is a mindset kind of thing. It's a mental thing. And so somebody here really needs to heal that. And somebody here has a tendency to be a combative. Like it's their, perhaps they have a very like a fighter spirit or something like that, and they have a tendency to be very sharp with their words, and I'm getting defensive. Okay, they have a very defensive exterior, but I'm get inside they're sweet, they're soft, they just don't want to get hurt. So it's almost like rejecting somebody before they're rejected or hurt. But this energy is, it's almost like they're manifesting their fears. Okay, and so this is something that this energy needs to heal from as soon as possible, because, and grow from, heal and grow from, because this is an immature mindset thing. It is. Okay, here's the tip. Here's how you'll know. If you give and you're reciprocated, green flag. Green flag. If you give and they reciprocate, green flag. Okay? However, if you give and all they do is take and ghost, red flag. Okay? So that's your answer right there. Like, why jump into the conclusion of like, oh, what if, or if this happens, or if that happens. But the thing is, those things hasn't happened, and somebody here is jumping into conclusions. Because remember, the person that actually care and is respectful, they're not gonna want conflict. They want resolution. They're going to want to work together to find a middle ground. And so, let's say if it's due to scheduling reasons, they'll reschedule. They're not going to be like, oh, we'll see, we'll play it by ear, and then days go by, weeks go by, months go by, and nothing happens. No, this person never really, like, they're not being respectful. However, if somebody here is dealing with somebody that doesn't want to waste somebody's time, is respectful of their time and other people's time, they're a respectful person, thoughtful, sweet, kind, and all of that. If somebody here sets a date and they can't make it, then they'll reschedule and they'll try to still make it work. They're not going to just leave somebody hanging. And so, but it's also talking about don't play games. Just being upfront, honest, know what this energy brings to the table. Somebody here needs to know their value and worth, and give opportunities for other people to show them who they are. Okay? Let them show you who they are. Yeah, wonderful. And that is really going to ease the tension. I'm getting somebody here has been very like stressful about this, of like not knowing where to take the connection, whether to just nip it at the bud or cut it off and then just go each other separate ways or not. And so it's almost like saying don't play on the sidelines, like take action, do things, communicate, and like, and if there is no progression, then there's your answer. But if there is progression, there is growth and coming together and both sides willing to put in the work, that is all green flags. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up the reading with a final message. We'll do the spinny spin. So this, what we just did right now, is just the overall message that wanted to come through. And let's see what else, if there's anything else we need to tap into. 1 and a 2 and a self. Okay, so somebody's higher self would like to have a little conversation. You don't know if this is your higher self or the higher self of somebody that you may be dealing with, but you will know. You will know. Okay. What's the higher self want to say? There's your energy. Okay, so the higher self wants to say that if somebody is a liar, okay, somebody here is pretending to be somebody they're not, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. And so when that happens, and I'm getting something about, like, you know, perhaps somebody here has a tendency to give people chances because perhaps they have history, and sometimes with history there's the sense of loyalty that one gives. And so even though there is all of that, it's saying somebody here really needs to be able, they need to be able to put themselves out of their situation and see it from an outside person's perspective. If somebody here was judging what is going on within the connection, will they think it's fair? Will they think, oh, is that right? Is that wrong? Because somebody here is too, like, they can't see things for what it is because they're so already invested. And I'm getting also very like emotional energy. So I'm getting like all or nothing energy. And so and it's also giving off like somebody here is more than willing to just cut somebody off and just call it a day and not have to deal with it. But if we do that, I mean, it depends though. It depends. If the person that this energy is dealing with is toxic, is a liar, cheater, user, what have you, then it is good to cut them off. But as mentioned, it keeps wanting to say, see it from an outside person's perspective. It's almost as if somebody here has a tendency to jump into conclusions, or if they see something and there was not even an explanation or anything like that, they just jump into conclusions. They're just like, oh, this is probably what happened. Okay, bye. No, no. Okay? This energy really needs to put themselves out of their own shoes because they're so emotional, so invested of and not wanting to be betrayed, etc., that they can't see things clearly. They can't. And so God is God, you know, this energy is higher self, etc. is just saying, please, if this somebody here is dealing with somebody that is of value and that they really want to work things out because they know that they really are a good person, then it's just like they really need to be willing to put themselves out of their circumstances and see the situation for what it is. I'm also getting something about like distance. Look at that. What a combo. Okay, I was picking up on this energy. Okay, why do you want to know this? I mean, yeah, why do we need to know this? Okay. So I'm picking up on a very immature energy that creates a lot of chaos, a lot of stress for somebody here. And it's almost like I'm getting like a enabler energy, okay? And so, but this is the thing. The person that's doing the enabling, they're just kind of like, okay, so I'm picking up on an energy here that is being a disruption, okay? And they know exactly what they're doing, and I don't like it. I don't like it, okay? Understand, God sees everything. God knows exactly what you're doing, okay? And it's called karma. It's called karma. If somebody here is sabotaging, okay? They're not being fair. They're just moving on grudge, okay? Somebody here is unhappy with their life and they don't want to see others happy. And so they try to sabotage and almost project unhappiness and a downfall towards somebody here. And this energy needs to shift this mindset and their behavior immediately. They think, this energy thinks that they're being secretive, that they're getting away with things. No, I see you. I see you. And I know exactly what you're doing. And I don't like it. God doesn't like it. Your higher self doesn't like it. So what are you doing? And I can see that is rooting from lack of love, okay? But how can somebody love this kind of behavior? Putting other people down, jumping into conclusions, preying on their downfall. It's karma, okay? It's karma, and it will come back. So be mindful of your actions. Okay. I see you. I see you. I know exactly what you're doing. Strong Leo energy coming through. Anything else? No, that is it. That is it, okay? So somebody here really needs to think about what they have done and what they're doing, okay? All right. Hello, Isa. All right, so that is what I have for you. I'm going to, this must be your lucky day. I'm going to do Libra next, okay? So if you would like to join me on there, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click on the notification bell so you're notified of when I go live or post new content, all right? Thank you for watching and for all your love and support, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.